I'm not very good with westerns, and I'm not very good with sci-fi.
Oh, well, it's neither of those things, but yeah, definitely.
Quite a big
Maybe don't watch The Last of Us.
Yeah,
that's not your bag.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Sherlock's Team podcast with me, Heather Steele. Today I'm joined by Sherri Andrew Emma Bigger and Tor West. Hello everyone.
Hey guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
It's Tuesday, Valentine's Day. I know this goes out on a Friday, but just wanted to say.
Spread the love,
Yeah,
share the love.
exactly. Anyone doing anything out of interest, Tor?
No, absolutely nothing, no. I bought Tim a card, but I haven't even given it to him yet.
Have you written it?
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's something.
It's ready to go. It's because we leave so early in the morning. I just wasn't really like a romantic moment. To
Yeah.
and I knew I wouldn't get one back, so I didn't want to start my day off on a shitty foot.
There we go.
But no, we'll probably have a dinner. Obviously we'll eat dinner. But I'm not sure it'll be very special.
Oh well, it's a Tuesday, Emma.
I'm kind of the same. I had 2 cards on the doormat, one from my sons and one from my husband. So at least he had thought of that, and I did give him a card. But as you say, it was in the morning, so it was a bit like, here's your Valentine's card.
Not the most romantic.
It's not very romantic.
Oh, does it feel really sweet getting one from your kids?
Yeah, and they write like guess who. And
I can't guess who it could be.
Whose handwriting can't it be?
But I don't think we'll do like a dinner or anything.
Yeah.
Do you get flowers?
No. No, do you?
No, God no.
I don't really know anyone that goes like all out for it.
No.
I don't know.
When I got out to the train at Clapham this morning, that beautiful flower stand at the front, it was so busy.
Yeah.
And I popped into Sainsbury's and everyone was buying flowers.
Really?
People out there are buying flowers.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
it's still a big booming industry. Maybe we're just a bit, you know.
What did you get this morning, Heather?
Absolutely nothing. I think still snoring in bed when I left. So yeah. No. Oh well, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy
So sorry for you. What have you been up to recently?
What have I been up to? I mean, I was skiing a couple of weeks ago, which was super fun. It was really good. And I was so worried about the snow because the snow reports have been so crap recently. But there was a huge dump the week before we went, so it was all good.
Where did you go?
We went to Kitzbühel in Austria,
Ooh.
which was great actually. So we usually go to the French Alps, which are lovely, but in hindsight, there's just such a long transfer time to get from Geneva to the resort. It could be like 3.5 hours, and when you're only going for a long weekend like we were, it's actually just not worth it.
No.
So
Quite a chunk, isn't it?
Actually, I just hate though like winding roads. You feel a bit sick.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we flew to Innsbruck, and then it's only an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, which is a game changer. And it also means on the way back, you can ski on your final day.
Oh, that's
And then
lovely.
even if you fly back at like 3, you get like an hour in the morning, which is so worth it. So highly recommend. Really cute resort.
Did it feel like not quieter, but like not maybe as manic as some of the other bigger resorts?
It didn't, and also because if you go obviously out of school holidays, is the one. But yeah, it was lovely. Being in the mountains is just the most like mentally like refreshing thing.
Yeah.
Skiing is just the best.
We have like the blue skies and the sun, don't you? But it's still nice and chilly.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
my perfect weather.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh.
And it's that kind of holiday where you tick all the boxes. Like you're outside, fresh air, nice food, drinks, bit of activity. Yeah, done.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't
Yeah.
been skiing really ever. Like maybe a couple of times when I was much younger and was absolutely
Would you
dreadful.
want to do it again, do you think?
I don't know. I was honestly dreadful. I think like you need to start when you're quite young. or else
I
you're
think
just like
I've never been.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when am I actually gonna? Well, I could take the kids, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'd have to join them
feel
in
like I'm
ski
too
school.
Yeah.
like to start.
I tell you what, a couple of my friends actually now go and they've decided as they've got older they hate it and they go and just go like walking.
Yeah.
And their
I'd be
husband
down
skis
for
or whatever. Yeah. And that actually I was like, why don't
I think
you do
I'd
that?
be up
That's
for
what my
that.
sister
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
She goes to the gym in the hotel, goes for
Yeah.
a walk.
Yeah.
And
The
it's so
kids
nice.
and her husband ski, and then they meet up for
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah, it was lovely and nice to get away actually in this time of year.
I was going to say it's nice to have a few days off if you can. I think because it's something to look forward to after Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
But no, that's me really. But
Amazing.
Sherri, it was your birthday.
It was.
So happy
at the
belated
weekend.
birthday, yeah.
Thank you. It wasn't the longest celebration ever, and I'm 28 now.
nice.
It was really nice. So not like a particularly big birthday, but I just had all the girls round on Saturday night for a dinner party, which was so nice.
It looked lovely.
I cooked, I
And
cooked.
she did her own menus, which looked
nice.
like,
It
like
looks so
handwritten
fun.
menus.
Yeah, well, I saw it on TikTok. This girl just got some watercolour paint and just did like a squiggly line. You need like 0 artist skills. And then just like hand wrote it with like a nice pen. And it came out really nice.
What did you
yeah.
cook?
So I made sure that everything could be made in advance because I didn't want to do any cooking. I also had like some feathers on my outfit, so I thought, I don't want to set fire to myself. Exactly. So it was like an Italian theme with some starters of like some antipasti. I made some focaccia.
Oh, that's my favourite starter.
Yeah.
And like olive
picky
oil.
Italian delicious things.
Yeah, exactly.
The best.
I did like some grilled peaches with like prosciutto and gnocchi. That was probably my favourite.
Yum.
Yeah, really. It was actually. I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I
I love
very
that.
well
I would never think to do that.
Oh no, I sometimes have that in summer as like with burrata or mozzarella.
You do have
for
that.
dinner.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
Yum.
Exactly. They were not quite ripe, so I just threw them in the oven, and they were really delicious. And, yeah, so that was nice. And then the main course was lasagna.
Nice.
I mean, who doesn't like lasagna?
Did you use anyone's recipe or just sort of do it from
You know what?
brain?
I just use my own recipe. Yeah, just like a bolognese mix, and then white sauce.
Layer it up.
So easy, exactly. And then my boyfriend did a tiramisu for pudding, which went down a treat.
I love tiramisu.
Me too. You really can't go wrong. We thought we had a bottle of Bailey's in the cellar, left over from Christmas, but it had gone, obviously. So it was booze free, but still delicious.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, it was a nice evening of like feasting, and we made some non-alcoholic bacantes and alcoholic ones for the drinkers. So yeah, it was very civilised. Yeah, it was really nice.
I love that you had Polaroid cameras out and taking loads of snaps. I love that.
Yeah, I've had that camera for like 10 years. It's lasted so long. You need to be on it with like rebuying the film. It's like an Instax Mini. They are really good though. They're really good. They're tiny, but I find if you take a picture of them on your actual phone, then you can make like a nice picture out of it.
Oh, I love that. And how many were you?
9 altogether.
9. That's a nice number. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not too many, but
Yeah. Did you get some nice presents?
I did. I got like a lot of like notebooks, really nice pens, got a few magazines. My friends know me very well. I got an away suitcase.
Oh, that's
that was
so nice.
Shout out Lemire, thank you for that. That was very nice.
That is such a good present.
Yeah.
It's the kind of, I think the perfect present for me is something that you don't want to buy for yourself, or you wouldn't want to buy for yourself. So yeah, that's a nice.
Love
With
that.
luggage as well,
staycation.
it's almost like a sort of not a promise, but a like, let's go travelling, let's go and do something, as well as like giving it. It's like a hint of what's to come, which is nice. And then you were off yesterday, as I was as well.
Right.
As were I.
We weirdly had a very similar day.
We
just
did. We ended up
different times.
crossing paths without realising it.
Oh, really? Oh, how funny.
We both went to Hyde Park and went walking and had a coffee at the Serpentine
Wow,
Lido
that is
Cafe.
so
Yeah.
Both ended up at the V&A, but I think I was maybe 2 hours.
I know, isn't that
I think
weird?
I was like 2 hours ahead of you. But yeah, no, how
It was
funny.
such a nice
What was
day.
at the V&A?
I went to the Donatello exhibition, which opened on Saturday. But yeah, it was good. It's very, religious, Renaissance-y. I thought it was maybe going to be a few more marble sculptures and things. It ended up being quite a lot of similar replicas of Madonna and Child, which is great, but there were about 50 of them. So kind of by the end, I was a bit like, I get it. Yeah, cool, nice.
I've
but,
seen that.
Yeah.
What else?
Exactly. Yeah, I still really enjoyed it, but yeah, I think by the end I was like, cool, I know him by heart now.
Lunchtime yet?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was really fun, but also, yeah, again, because it was sunny, we just like had a coffee in the courtyard at the V&A, which was lovely, obviously, and just sort of wandered around some of the other galleries, which was really nice.
Are you a member?
I'm not, no, but I think if I lived in London, I probably would be, but I think if you just go like 3 or 4 times a year, it's still good to just sort of pop in. But you went to the Korean exhibition, which I
did.
While I was there, I was
That
like,
looks good.
now this
Yeah.
is what I also really want to go to.
I would highly recommend. It's really cool. Like obviously it's been like an explosion of Korean culture in the last few years with like TV and film, Parasite, Squid Game, etc. Like K-pop is so big.
Gangnam Style.
Exactly, the food,
Food,
all
yeah.
of it. I'm obsessed. So yeah, it was a really, really cool exhibition. Felt very futuristic.
Was it? Oh, so it was quite modern.
Yeah. It's quite modern. Yeah, but they did have like some old shots of South Korea in like the 50s and 60s. So yeah, we crossed paths, but different exhibitions.
And then I saw you were eating some yummy seafood somewhere.
Yes.
That looked amazing.
Oh, it was so good. So we went to a restaurant called Salty Girl in Mayfair, and it's a seafood restaurant. And we know, as Heather told us the other day, that tinned seafood is a really big trend for this year. So the whole premise of the restaurant is kind of based on that idea of like tinned seafood, making that the kind of
Oh, I
star
love
of the
that.
show.
That's so cool.
You can get fresh seafood as well. We did have like
I saw some
a platter,
prawns.
yeah, some prawns, some
I've never seen a tinned
oysters.
prawn.
Yeah.
They probably do have
They
them,
do.
to be
Yes,
fair.
they do, yeah.
Yeah, it was delicious, very fresh. If you like seafood, then
I
it's a
love
real
seafood. Might
Yeah.
have to give that a
Special
go.
Yeah.
What other things?
Really nice.
Like what? Can you give us an example of what kind of tinned, what they
So
would
like
do with the tinned.
sardines and
So yeah, lots
yummy
of
anchovies.
exactly, lots of stuff from Portugal. So you can get like tuna in like different flavors. Lots of it is in like brine, but with delicious like herbs and olive
I think
oil.
Portugal does the best tinned. Is it sardines or is it anchovies? I think.
Oh, I know, yeah, in the really lovely
Ooh,
colourful
yes.
tins.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, and the Spanish
Exactly.
tuna, the Ortiz
Oh,
tuna.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's the
good.
one. Yeah, exactly.
Delicious.
So yeah, very fishy but delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah, really nice.
Lovely. Emma, what did you get up to? Or what have you been up
What
to
have I
since
been
you
up
last on the
to?
podcast?
Were you at the V&A as well?
I wasn't at the V&A, no. I went out for dinner on Friday, so I ended up at the Clove Club,
Oh,
which is in
nice. Oh,
Shoreditch,
gorgeous.
which is so nice. I'd never been before.
Oh,
So
amazing.
that was nice. And
What did you have?
we had the tasting menu.
Ooh.
So it was just, I don't know, like I find I go to a lot of places and have, you know, quite a nice meal.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive and you kind of leave feeling a bit
Shortchanged.
disappointed maybe. But this was like incredible.
Really?
Yeah, like every course, every bite was just so impressive.
It's
That-
been up
yeah.
there for like 10 years now, I
Yeah.
think. It's like one of the very best in London.
Yeah, it was very expensive, but some
feel-
things tick up the list.
Yeah, exactly.
A treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad it didn't disappoint. I
No.
think, yeah, when you go somewhere like that, you do have really high expectations, don't you? So it's always
It's
good.
always like top of the restaurant list,
Yeah,
isn't it? So I just wanted
always.
to give it a go. And yeah, what else? Oh, I've been looking for a holiday in the summer.
Oh, that's fun.
It's been keeping
Really
me
fun.
busy, but
Got any
so, yeah.
ideas yet?
Yeah, I've booked a week in Greece in the
Gorgeous.
summer. So
Whereabouts? Like islands?
Zakynthos.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so that would be nice.
Is that with the family?
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds great.
yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's something to look forward to.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, because now it's booked. Like we've been talking about it for months,
Yeah.
and now it's just done. So it's
It's so
definitely something
easy to
look
spend your
forward
Sunday sort of at the laptop,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
researching, plotting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I feel like I do that every weekend. And I end up with about 20 tabs open.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I shut it and then never actually
I
like
know,
action them.
yeah.
Look at, yeah.
And
I'm
I'm
like that as
"My life
well."
doing that."
I think it's so easy to be like, oh, we must book those train tickets,
Yeah.
or we must book that.
Yeah.
And you just don't get around
Yeah.
And then
to
they
it.
The
just
day
write
before.
price. Yeah,
And
exactly.
that as well.
Exactly.
I finally went to St John on Sunday night, which I'd never been
I've
to.
never been
I like
there.
it's one of those restaurants that it's been around for so long that you're just like, oh yeah, you just don't book it when you think of where shall we go because it's always been there. You know it's always going to be there. So you're just like,
I was there.
oh, it was so good. So they've opened a newish one in Marylebone just before Christmas, but it is just like all the food I want to eat. They sort of do a new menu every day and it's up on a chalkboard and they just sort of cross it off when things have sold out. We hadn't booked or anything, got there at 8:30 on Sunday night.
Can you book?
You can book, yeah.
Ooh.
They do events and everything as well. I've seen on some publications they do weddings downstairs as well, and I'm like, that looks fun.
That's a
Like
good
if
venue.
you really wanted a food and drink focused wedding, I think
Heather's
St.
like,
John's.
yes,
Yeah.
notebook.
By the way, but no, all the food is lovely. It was like 2 sardines have just been simply grilled on like a parsley sauce. Great. And then one of them was like cold lamb with radicchio and like a caper vinaigrette. Like it's all very simple stuff, but it would never taste that good if you tried to make it at home.
Good ingredients done well.
Exactly, always the best way. And also, we had a couple of glasses of manzanilla as well, which were £4.50 each. So actually, we had like a few
Wow.
courses between us, shared some cheese at the end, and 2 glasses each of
Yum.
sherry. And it came in at like, I think it was like £65 because we didn't go wild
so
on the
good.
food,
That's
but
really good.
yeah, it was a lot cheaper than I think. In my head, I always think it's like a sort of special occasion dining place, but actually, it was. I knew it would be relaxed, but it was like relaxed, but also like affordable.
young.
'cause
And nice vibe, fun vibe.
really nice, really good. Yeah, I
yeah.
absolutely loved it. But no, we actually ended up staying at Henry's Townhouse, which is this new
nice.
hotel in Marylebone. And it's basically Jane Austen's brother, who was called Henry's old house, and this couple.
Is it new?
Yeah, so it opened in the pandemic, and then, or just before the pandemic, and then couldn't open as a hotel because of everything that was going on. So then once bubbles started, they opened it up so you could have exclusive use only, but they've only sort of opened as a hotel last autumn, and it's
Nice.
so lovely. Like, it's only got 6 bedrooms. It's this old townhouse, and it's it's not Jane Austen themed at all, but it's got that sort of look and feel to it. But
Oldie,
also,
oldie, worldy.
Yeah.
Grand
Stayed there on
interiors.
yeah, on
night.
Sunday night watching the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. So yeah, it was pretty good to sort of be somewhere a bit. It was really funny actually watching the Super Bowl in this sort of like quite grand 4-poster bed or something like that. But it's like really beautiful interiors that are quite.
What a weekend.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, that's why I'm just like, and then I did this. Like most weekends aren't like this for me, so I'm just like making the most of it. But no, it's also been done with Russell Sage Studio as well, who's like one of the bigger sort of hotel designers out there. So it's still modern while looking like quite
Oh my
old
God,
school.
I love
It's
that.
so beautiful. I'd really recommend if anyone's looking.
If it's only 6 bedrooms, does that mean it's going to be really fully booked all the time?
Not all the time, I wouldn't say, but I think they're getting the word out there. I'd really recommend it. The breakfast is like one of the best I've had in a hotel for a really long time, and they can. It's almost like they've got someone looking after everyone, like you were saying in someone's house, but they can sort of be as hands-on or hands-off as you want. So yeah, no, I'd really recommend it if you're looking for like somewhere nice, like a nice sort of staycation.
I love like a lunch staying in a London hotel. I mean, I don't do it often, but
No.
it's such a treat.
So I think because it was a special occasion, so we were like, oh yeah, let's do it. But it was honestly really, really lovely. So yeah, would recommend heartily.
Love that.
So nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, so I've been watching the Super Bowl and NFL. What's everyone else been watching, Tor?
Not
Or
that
reading?
Reading, yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
reading. I've been really struggling with TV recently, to be honest. I feel like I start something and I just there's so much I want to start.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start.
Like what? I just don't think there's much.
So many series, like Happy Valley. I never even watched Happy Valley. Like it's just like all those amazing police dramas.
There's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Don't know where to start. But I have just finished. So I actually mentioned it in that feature you wrote. There are
Old favourites.
old favourites. Yeah. So it was kind of a roundup basically we did on the site of. I don't know if you saw it, Emma. Of it was basically the kind of books, podcasts, cultural hits that the editorial team enjoyed that people might not have heard of, I guess.
And they're not like brand new, but they're just
exactly things
you might should have read
Yeah.
or watched. But missed.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And actually, one of them was a book called The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Have you read it?
No, but I obviously read your piece, and it sounded really good.
It is one of. I mean, I'd never actually heard of her as an author, but if you're into historical fiction, that's like her jam, basically. And she's just, when you know someone like writes and you're reading it and you feel like you're watching a film, like just so descriptive, and the kind of characters that you can like almost like touch, they're so like descriptive. Anyway, The Nightingale is amazing. It's a World War II historical fiction drama. I'm sure there's lots of stories like that out there, but this one was particularly good. Anyway, I just finished her most recent book, which is called The Four Winds, and it's about the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression in America, which I knew nothing about.
I remember learning that in history when I was about 15. I can't remember much more.
Yeah, well, it's the the most like significant environmental disaster in American history, and like similar kind of story of survival and
wow.
fantastic. Again, such good characters and just
Sorry, what was her name?
Kristen Hanna.
Kristen Hanna.
Oh yeah, no, they both sound like great.
And it's it's already won loads of awards for kind of best historical fiction novel of the year. The Nightingale's being made into a film.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Really recommend.
Sherri, how about you?
I went to see Women Talking last night at the cinema.
How was it?
Which was so good.
I really want to watch it.
It's one of those films that really stays with you, and you don't really know what era it's set in. It could be modern day, it could be 100 years ago. So it's actually based on a book of the same name, and I think it was actually based in 2005. It's a true story as well. So it's about this group of women and men, and they're not an Amish community, but it's kind of that similar, like a very religious
Cult almost. No,
I wouldn't say it was a cult, but I mean some people might. It's a very religious community. They are kind of ostracized from society. They live off the land. It's ultra religious, very patriarchal society, I would say as well. And it's about the women, and over a series of years they are subject to attacks by the men in the group, and so they're sexually assaulted. It's quite a hard watch. You don't see any of the assault, but you see them talking about it afterwards, which is obviously very powerful. And at the time they're told it's the devil, it's like wild female imaginations. They're told basically nothing's happened to you, you're overreacting.
Ultimate gaslighting.
Ultimate to the extreme. So the women decide to get together and talk in this barn, and this is not a spoiler, this bit happens very early on in the film, and they decide to, are they going to stay and fight? Are they going to leave? Or are they going to basically do nothing? And it's just an incredible film because it's basically set in a bar on the whole. It's like an hour and 45. And it's just them talking about like they're all survivors, talking about their experiences, talking about their experience in this religious community, and it's really powerful.
The cast is amazing.
It is. So it's Claire Foy, Rooney Mara,
Frances McDormand in.
Yes, she plays a very stern character. She doesn't actually say anything, I don't think, but her presence still, like that just says what an amazing actor she is.
Ben Whishal's in it as well, isn't he?
Yes, Ben Whishaw plays a very, very nice man. Probably the only nice man in the film, as you'd expect, because he's so lovely. But really powerful film.
Wow, that sounds great.
It's quite a heavy watch, I would say, but
it's nominated.
An actual
true story. So the film is kind of like a Midwestern. You're not really sure it is somewhere in America. Even the women don't know what they are. They haven't seen a map, so they have no understanding of where they are in the world. But the original story was in Bolivia 15 years ago. And I just couldn't believe that it was real. I was like, wow, this stuff happens in real life. It's crazy.
It's been nominated for lots of awards, Oscars and things like that. So I think I'm going to go see it this weekend. It sounds
really good. The acting is amazing.
Gosh,
what about you, Heather? Have you been watching anything or reading?
The only thing I've been watching is The Last of Us, which is on Now TV, Sky Atlantic, which I'm really into. It's probably not everyone's cup of tea. It's sort of an end of the world drama, and there's sort of, a huge fungal infection has taken over and loads of people are dead. So it's almost a bit zombie-esque, but it's one of those where actually the scary things aren't the zombies, it's actually the other humans who are still around. It's based on a video game, basically, so it's...
Is it?
Yeah, it's like this best-selling video game, and they've turned it into a series, so I think they've been very clever. I've never played the game, but it's very clever the way they've managed to sort of make it into a real-life sort of series. But it's about this guy who's played by Pedro Pascal, who has got to look after this 12-year-old girl, and they sort of are forming not a relationship in that way, but they've got to sort of bond and look out for each other, and he's got to get her from A to B across an abandoned America. So it's really interesting. It sounds quite, sci-fi and maybe a bit eye roll if that's not your thing, but it's genuinely the best thing on TV at the moment.
Interesting.
Good recommendation.
It's really...
I found it very scary.
You did
After
find
the first
it...
episode, I was like, this isn't for me. But
I'm not good with scary.
I don't know if I should dive
I
back
think
in.
the first one's scary in the sense that that's the one that's more set in the present day when the thing happens, and then after that it sort of jumps forward 20 years to 2023, and it's about how people are surviving. But episode 3 is a sort of standalone episode that focuses on these two men who have basically barricaded themselves in a house for the whole 20 years, and how they meet and then basically both... Well, it's about they actually end up having a relationship, but it's the most incredible standalone episode of TV I've seen in a really long time. It's a very beautiful sort of standalone episode. But it is worth a watch. I've also started watching Yellowstone, which I am very much enjoying, but I won't talk about it too much because the reason I'm watching it is when Patricia came on the show at the beginning of the year and she was giving it the big one. So I've started watching that, and it's really good.
That doesn't appeal to me.
Oh no,
really?
It's really good.
I just don't. I don't know. There's something about it. I just
not into ranchers and
no.
It's essentially Succession, but on a ranch.
Yeah.
So like Succession.
I'm not very good with westerns, and I'm not very good with sci-fi.
Oh, well, it's neither of those things, but definitely.
Quite a bit.
Maybe don't watch The Last of Us.
That's
not your bag.
Yeah.
So we're at the part of the podcast where we go through the Sunday papers and we discuss a couple of fun articles that we've read this week. Tor, what have you got for us?
I saw this piece in the Evening Standard and it really made me laugh. It was... Well, it's kind of the new etiquette rules of living in London. The title of the article is How to Survive in London Now, 30 New Rules to Follow. Small talk, cycling, allergies and doorbells. Are you up to speed? How not to get it wrong in 2023.
I read that on the train last night and it was the same, sort of cackling away.
I was like, oh my God. Some of them resonate more than others, obviously. It just really made me laugh. 'Cause it makes it sound like absolute arseholes, but it's basically saying always have your coffee order ready. Says the counter is not the place for slow menu rumination. This is London. We are busy and in a hurry. Know what you want in advance. Pay always contactlessly and then move on.
But I think that's fair enough.
I think of all ordering anything.
Well, so you need to know what you
don't order.
If you're in the
order.
Oh yeah, long queue.
Yeah, and I
when
think
you-
with the
yeah.
coffee, it's always the same, isn't it? You always know what you're going to have.
That, but then, you know.
Some people might be attracted by a kappa,
Maybe.
macca, whatever, sort
that-
of
all that
weird new
shit.
drink.
Exactly. That really made me laugh. The other thing that's in here that was really funny, it was obviously saying don't stand on the left-hand side. Obviously.
Yes,
people
I
who
mean,
don't are
I feel like that was the
assholes.
only one I was like, oh, come on, like that goes without saying, surely.
You'd be surprised.
That's as tourists, though, surely.
Yeah, I think it has to
I
be
can
people
forgive
that don't live in
them.
London. Yeah.
And getting, and it's not in here, but people who get on the tube before everyone gets off. Is
Oh,
just
that's
so
unacceptable.
Even
That's
normal
rude.
trains as well.
So rude. Another one that was quite funny was saying how everyone in London should like dogs. If you're not a dog person, you're not a Londoner. Which I feel that's like quite a COVID thing because I think after the pandemic everyone got dogs.
That's
I
true.
got a dog in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Did you?
But I feel like more places are up for them being in restaurants and places like that. And maybe if you're not a dog fan, you could. I am, by the way. But if you weren't, you might be like, what's the much doing over there when I just want to eat a nice dinner or something?
Well, it says here, yeah, expect to see dogs welcomed in restaurants, on public transport, and in the shops, and in your home.
Fine by me.
Yeah, I've noticed quite a few more restaurants are kind of happy to have dogs.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a good thing.
It is a good
It
thing.
is. Makes you feel a bit more casual and not so like...
Yeah,
Yeah.
cozy vibes.
Exactly.
The other one that made me laugh was, and I don't know if I don't do this, but I perhaps did a couple of times when I used to live in London, is it says don't expect the under 30s to ring the doorbell.
That one really cracked me up. So
Yeah,
read
so
what-
it says millennials don't understand doorbells. If you invite someone under 30 over for dinner, they'll indicate their arrival only by way of text message that says here. If you don't answer this with a buzzing you in now SMS within 30 seconds, they'll presume you're not in and leave.
Is that what people do?
Interesting. Actually, a lot of my friends do that. They're like,
Yes,
hey,
yeah.
like,
I'm outside.
I'm outside.
Yeah.
Ring the doorbell, surely.
Yeah. When I was in my flat, lots of people used to text me and be like, I'm here, or call me, I'm here, can you let me in?
That is
what-
so strange to
Why?
me.
Perhaps if
I
you
don't
live
know.
with like...
I don't know.
I think it's if you're living with other people, they want you to be answering
Maybe.
the door,
No,
as
fair.
opposed to like your flatmates or your parents or whoever.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
But the
I think
leaving
that's-
after
But still-
30 seconds thing was, I was like, oh, wow, okay, you get your one shot to have your phone glued
Yeah.
to your hand to let
That
someone
made-
in.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There we go.
Anyway,
Oh,
I think
no,
it was a
thank
good article. It's on the Evening Standard if anyone wants to read all 30 rules
No,
and
I enjoyed that.
have their etiquette up to speed.
There we go. So the one I've got, it was in the Times this weekend, and the title is "Help! I've forgotten my skirt: The new tights trend," and it's basically about the what have they called it? The Glossy Posse were modelling the latest underwear as outwear at Paris Fashion Week, and I did see quite a few people wearing tights almost instead of trousers. So they might
Yeah.
have them with leotards
Ooh.
and other things, but yeah, no skirt.
I've seen a lot of like bodysuits and like
Exactly.
oversized blazers
Yeah.
or like men's coats.
Yes.
Sorry, and then tights. And like
Tights.
boots or
Yeah.
heels. I mean, it looks. I guess it looks great on some people, not so great on others.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those quite polarizing trends, isn't it?
I think it
I
looks
wanna
really good. Like
Me
not
too.
on maybe not on everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, these are obviously incredible and confident people, but yeah, I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I think as well, for me, it's almost like a bit like wearing a pair of leggings.
Yes.
In that it doesn't look ridiculous like I might think other trends
Yeah.
might.
Yeah.
I also find tights just so fucking comfortable.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd love to if I
They
could.
are
Yeah.
true.
I'm gonna wear
Very
tights
true.
tomorrow, guys. Just
Yeah.
FYI.
Do it.
It does. It's a comfy trend actually, which I
Yeah.
like because
Yeah, it's accessible.
exactly. You
it
don't
is,
have
but
bare
like
legs.
they're saying, yeah, the normally, and would you agree, Emma? The style set doesn't tend to go for hosiery, apparently. So it is. That's why it's a bit of a
'cause
trend.
It's
like,
always quite a fashion no-no. Like,
why is that? Just because it's better just to have nice bare legs or not, like one
well, I
extreme or
think
the
it
other.
probably started with like skin color
Yeah.
tights, and
Yeah.
then they were kind of like a no-no.
Yeah.
And then I think it's the thick wool tights. But I think that's quite a it's quite a sexy trend.
I think
It's
so.
quite, like
if they're
full
sheer,
on.
Yeah, and like some are patterned as well. Like mine
Yeah.
today, I am wearing a skirt, just to point out. But yeah, I think some of them are really good. But some of them look like they're wearing sort of grey, thick rib tights as well, almost like those sort of all-in-one
Leggings.
bodysuits
Yeah.
that we're seeing quite a lot of
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a more wearable way to wear them? If
I think you've got to go for it.
Do you
or
think?
yeah.
Commit?
I think go for it. Bodysuit, blazer, And I've seen like people even with the high boots and.
Well, what do you do about your pants? Can you not see
got
your
like
pants?
a bodysuit
or like some people black high waisted but nice pants, obviously.
It's perhaps I can't really see.
They're
She's actually
black
wearing a
pants,
bodysuit.
yeah.
or
Fine.
those like those big kind of flat fronted pants.
Yeah.
But I won't be sporting that trend.
Do you not think?
First of all, I think you have to be 6 foot.
Yeah.
And have
all those legs.
Quite daring, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, everyone in these images are wearing really high heels as well, which I imagine probably elevates the look in more ways than one. But
it might become more common.
I can honestly see this being something that everyone's like, oh no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then in like 4 months' time, everyone's got a bit more. Because like really short skirts are in at the moment anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it feels like maybe the next step.
That's true.
say.
I can just hear
Level.
all the mums out there and dads being like, what on earth? Where is your skirt?
Yeah.
You can't go out like that.
Exactly. Skirt off sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I love my tights, so I probably don't worry, won't be worrying.
I would do it. I would
Won't be
love that.
What, in the office, just
Set the trend.
Yeah, you
my
should.
bum out, but no, I don't know. I think you said with a really long blazer done up, I think you could just.
You never know. We might be doing a TikTok in the office of
There we
everyone
go,
wearing
there we go.
tights in a few months.
So we're just going to take a quick pause because last week Charlotte was joined by special guest Alex Bertram as Sheerlex has partnered with Royal Ascot and King George Day, which are two of the big races of the summer. So whether you're into racing or not, she's here to tell us why Royal Ascot is the event of the season.
Alex, welcome. It's so lovely to have you here. You are, I want to get this right, senior
Content and PR marketing manager.
for Ascot.
Snappy.
There you go. Snappy, yeah, it's catchy. I love it. So, Royal Ascot, people will have an idea in their heads of what that is, what that means, what the event is. But you're kind of having some updates for 2023. Is that fair?
I think every year we kind of look at what we did the year before, we look at trends and what people want. And it's unlike any other sport, we've got the ability to bring in so many other elements to a day. So you might spend 8 hours with this. Mm-hmm. And actually the sport is obviously at the kind of centre of it all. But that's about 15, 20 minutes of your day. So what you're eating, drinking, wearing, who you're with, what you're talking about, what you're listening to, all of those other elements of your day is what we try and kind of not change every year, because fundamentally a day of racing is a day of racing and that's what it's all about. But we kind of move with the times. So fashion probably is one of the biggest parts of the day.
Yeah.
And we know, and I certainly do as well, start planning outfits kind of weeks, months.
Yeah.
Quite a way in advance.
There's a lot of effort.
And it's an occasion. It's not simply just going to a sporting event. People have it in the diary.
It is really, it's the biggest social event of the British season. I mean, no one else really does these kind of events. Well, no one else, I mean, no other countries do events kind of in this same way. Everybody's heard of Ascot, whether you've been or not. And also, we should say, like, you have to be booking now, right? If you want to go, if you're going to go with a group of friends, like, now is the time, despite what you may think.
Certainly, I mean, we've got 5 days, so it kind of depends on the day that you want. Earlier on in the week, it's very much kind of a racing focus, and then the fashion kind of ramps up throughout the week. Thursday being Gold Cup Day, huge race, I think probably one of our busiest days of the week. And then you're heading into Friday and Saturday. So, yeah, it just kind of builds throughout the 5 days.
So we're going to talk about Royal Ascot as well as the King George Day.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the two? I feel like the former might be a bit more well known, but we're really excited. We're partnering with you for both. But tell us about the difference between the two.
So Royal Ascot is a kind of centrepiece, really. As you say, is probably the most watched globally. It's got the blend of fashion, pageantry, sport, all the lovely food and drink that goes with it. It's a real day out. And hopefully sunny, although we usually get one day where it throws a curveball. So it's ultimately about the racing. Both race days or race meetings are kind of centred around that part. The King George weekend at the end of July is only 2 days rather than 5, and is kind of slightly more relaxed. I guess we've got the pageantry of Royal Ascot, and that's where the heritage and the history come into play. We don't have the royal procession at the King George, but it's still very much one of the top kind of races, well, certainly on the Saturday of the season.
I know Georgie would also want me to mention the family days that you do throughout the year, because I know she's a massive fan of those. How many are there? 4?
So there's 4 dedicated family race days throughout the year. So we have one spring family race day, one in the summer, and we have a big fireworks kind of occasion, usually around Halloween, November, and then a Christmas one in December. There's so much entertainment. I know Georgie's been with the kids several times, and it's great. Like, there's such an atmosphere, and it really allows us to kind of bring those younger kind of race goers into the fold and get them excited and watch them become kind of lifelong fans. They go free, so that's also something that
Added
we've
bonus.
done for as long as I've known, so a long time, which makes it a really kind of achievable way to go out as a family.
It's
Adults
inclusive.
pay, and then kids under 18 go free, and that's throughout the year. It's not just family race days. So barring Royal Ascot, where there are reduced rate tickets, it's a free day out for the kids.
Love
So
that.
we're always trying to encourage
You're
them
looking
to
for
drag
ways to,
their
I was going to
parents
say,
out.
ways to kill some time, burn some energy. Okay, let's talk about enclosures, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that, again, people have heard of the Royal Enclosure, but there are so many different ways to enjoy these events, aren't there? I know there are different enclosures for the two different, for Royal Ascot and also for King George Day, so we're going to try and break it down really carefully. Royal Ascot, what are the options if you fancy a day out?
So there are 4 enclosures at Royal Ascot, and that really allows everyone to just kind of pick and choose and make their day kind of what they want it to be. So as you say, you've got the Royal Enclosure, which is invitation only, so not kind of available to buy on the website, for example. And then you go into the Queen Anne Enclosure. So that's the premier public enclosure, which kind of nestled right next to the Royal Enclosure, but also the centre of the action. So you've got the parade ring, you've got trackside viewing, so you can really kind of get that Royal Ascot experience and be in the thick of it. Then in 2017, we actually opened the first new enclosure in over 100 years, which kind of takes over the centre of the racecourse. So if you're familiar with Ascot, it's kind of a looped course, and in the centre there's this perfect kind of place to have a sort of festival vibe. So it's kind of our Royal Ascot take on a summer festival. So there's it's only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And after racing, you've got a concert every evening. So that runs up until 9 o'clock. And it's such a great vibe over there. And it allows us, because it's kind of contained, we can really test out some really cool stuff. So last year we launched Neutro, which is our first carbon zero restaurant, which was really cool, offering just a totally plant-based menu. All the furniture was made out of recycled wood. Staffing was all sourced from very locally. And we've done a full kind of report on how that works. So we're looking at ways that we can expand that and turn the village into a bigger kind of eco hub. So that's really cool.
And that's really, I mean, I say unexpected. I don't mean the sustainability side of it, but something that feels kind of younger, more modern. I don't think that's necessarily the traditional associations.
No,
is it?
no, but it's something that consumers want.
Yeah,
across the board.
totally.
It's
Yeah.
not just a young thing. It's everyone.
Yeah.
We're always trying to find ways of how we can make those changes, because they will amount to a bigger picture.
Yeah, of course.
So one of the big things we did was do away with single-use plastic across site. There is nothing. We really wash all of our plastic cups. So we launched a program called Recup, which takes nearly a million pieces of single-use plastic out of our waste every year.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we've got, you might spot them around, these massive bins, and it's just encouraging everyone that walks through the gates to be a bit more mindful that rather than put it on the floor,
And you sort
put
of
it in a
have to
bin.
these days, don't you? Yeah, exactly.
We can take it away, we wash it, and it's back again the following morning.
The fourth enclosure.
Fourth enclosure, you've got the Windsor enclosure, which is kind of down by the Golden Gates, just as at the end of the track. It's a real kind of relaxed vibe, so there is no strict dress code in there at all. We just, although generally speaking, people embrace it, put a hat on, love it.
Yeah.
So it's where you can bring your own picnic, you can bring a bottle of bubbly with you, put your picnic blanket down, fold out chairs, all of that jazz.
Fun.
And yeah, just kind of have quite a relaxed day
Yeah.
in the sun.
Love that.
Over the years, we've kind of introduced more and more foodie options. So every year there's usually quite a cool kind of London restaurant pop-up going on down there. Yet to be decided for this year. So
It was posted. Foodie options are a massive part of what you offer now. I mean, as you said, racing is X part of the day. It's the focus point, but there's so much more to enjoy whatever enclosure you're in. So can you give us a flavour of some of the other options?
So they really range from Royal Enclosure restaurants, where you'll find the likes of Raymond Blanc, who is coming back for, I think, his 7th or 8th year now, and is our chef ambassador. We've got Simon Rogan, who's coming back. He's got his 3 Michelin stars, as well as another couple. He's got a green Michelin star. So again, bringing in that sustainability through the people that we work with. He and the team grow an incredible amount of produce up in Cumbria, and that will be found on the menus. Cool. We've got Ollie Deboo coming back.
These are serious names,
I
aren't
know.
they? Yeah.
It's incredible. There's literally no other event that groups together that
Yeah.
many kind of culinary stars in one place.
Do you have to be in a certain enclosure to access certain chefs?
Certain chefs, yeah. So it'll be a pre-booked restaurant. So we've got some that are in the Royal Enclosure. We've got Brett Graham of the Ledbury, so very well-known Australian chef. He's heading up our flagship restaurant in the Queen Anne Enclosure. So that's a really popular option for people who don't necessarily want to wear top hat and tails. Not everybody does. So that's always booked out pretty quickly. And then we've got other restaurants that are more kind of casual but on the go. So we've got Eric Landlard, who is a master patissier. He designs our Royal Ascot afternoon tea. That's available in various places, either pre-booked or just kind of walking in. We've got Tom Booton from the Dorchester Grill. He's got a little pop-up restaurant going on this year as well. James Tanner, so quite regularly on the TV cooking things up. He's back in the Queen Anne Enclosure as well, serving up some kind of classic British summer dishes.
You've touched on top hat and tails. Can you, I mean, again, I think we all have a vision. I know certainly when I think of Ascot, it's the hats that pop into my head. What are the differentiations between the dress codes for the various enclosures?
So I think top hat is probably one of the most iconic things when you think of Royal Ascot. The silhouette will always be synonymous with the royal meeting. So you start off with the Royal Enclosure, and that's probably our most I suppose strictest dress code, and that's where men are required to wear a top hat and tails. A couple of years ago, we actually did make an update, it doesn't happen very often in our 300 plus year history. But men are now allowed to wear navy morning dress rather than just black and grey.
Wild, yeah.
I know. So it's actually become really, really popular. It's quite a contemporary take on it. So it's really lovely to see men kind of getting quite involved in the fashion conversations and kind of showcasing their style through their choice of tailoring. Then we've got ladies who generally dresses are to the knee or below. Straps are 1 inch or wider. Hats need to have a diameter of 4 inches or 10 centimetres as a base. And that's really kind of the main kind of rules,
which extends down into the Windsor enclosure.
So Windsor Enclosure, no strict dress code at all. Wear what you want, but most people can dress up for a summer occasion. Royal Enclosure, obviously, at the top end. And then you've got Queen Anne, which is, again, it's no strapless dresses or one-shoulder dresses, but you don't have a strap width requirement in the Queen Anne. Okay. Although it's really, really interesting, actually, the last few years. Jumpsuits were allowed in the Royal Enclosure from 2017. But I mean, trouser suits were introduced for women back in the 70s. So it's been 50 years. And it's really interesting to watch the fashion evolve over that time.
And also I would have thought that you still couldn't wear trousers. So how silly that it's been 40 years or so that you could. Yeah.
And so many women look incredible in tailoring. And I think I always try and factor one into the week.
Yeah, I bet. I also think it's cool, obviously the rules sound kind of specific when you hear them broken down like that. But if you actually then think about how you'd want to dress for that event, I mean, you'd want to do all those things, and you don't want to wear like a mini skirt boob tube, do you?
Exactly. I always
you want to
think
go
of
for
it as like the summer of events that you're likely to go to. You've got christenings, you've got weddings, you've got 100%. Those kind of like special occasions, and it's really not that dissimilar to totally. What you'd wear for a lovely occasion that you want to kind of put your best style forward.
Just a good block heel.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of grass, and it is, I think we've 179 acres in total, so it's not a small venue. Okay. So I think, biggest piece of advice, wear some shoes that aren't brand new.
Yeah, aren't white.
And just easy to walk on.
King George Day.
Yeah.
What are the differences there? Are there enclosures? Are there dress codes? How is that different format-wise to Royal Ascot?
Yeah, so we don't have the Royal Enclosure. That is just for Royal Ascot. The King George weekend, you've got the King Edward Enclosure, which is then the premier public enclosure. There is a dress code there. We do encourage ladies to wear hats or headpieces or fascinators, however you want to kind of word it. But generally speaking, there are a few rules, but not on the level of Royal Ascot. Gents are encouraged to wear a suit with a collared shirt and a tie. And then you've got the Queen Anne Enclosure, which there isn't a strict dress code there either. In fact, I don't think there's any dress code. And again, people embrace it.
Yeah,
it's an opportunity to go out for the day.
You dress up for races, don't you? Yeah.
It's great to see so much kind of individual style coming out. Like, there are so many different people, and I think the last few years as well, trends coming out of pre-loved and vintage and rental, all of those different strands just mean that there aren't trends necessarily coming out every year because everyone's wearing their own kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And the King George is a great way to see that because I think it's slightly kind of more relaxed to Royal Ascot, and that's where everyone really kind of goes all out on the sartorial elegance.
And I'm sure post-pandemic you've seen even more of that, like, you know,
there was
year,
definitely coming back to in-person events.
I bet.
You could just see people were desperate to go out and
dress
go
up,
out.
Yeah.
Like it was 2020 was a strange year for us all.
Yeah.
And watching the number of people around the world that were dressing up in their Royal Ascot finery, top hat, tails, picnics, afternoon teas, absolutely going for it at home. So yeah, when we were back in 2021, albeit a smaller event than normal, it really kind of exploded. And I don't think that's going to go away.
No,
Like,
I think we're still
it is
reveling in
that one event a year that it's where you can leave your fashion mark.
Okay, let's talk numbers. For what are we talking? Kind of, is it ballpark per person for Royal Ascot? You know, kind of what does it range from?
So for Royal Ascot, Windsor Enclosure, if you book in advance, we do have booking windows. So obviously, the earlier you book, the better the price. And again, getting your group together. The more of you there are, there's discounts for groups.
Is that right? Okay.
So I think the cheapest tickets you can get for the Windsor Enclosure are £26.
Oh my God.
So I think
For a day
there's
out,
a bit of a misconception that it's far more than that. So that obviously kind of ranges and goes up depending on days of the week as well.
But it's a really good entry price point, is the point.
Yeah, totally. And there's discounts as well in the Windsor Enclosure for 10 to 17-year-olds. So again, just kind of getting the families together for a summer day out.
I love this. You got me very tempted. Anything else we should know about either of the events? Any other kind of things going on across the events that are worth people knowing?
Well, we've got our partnership with you guys.
Well, of course there's that, yes.
In July. So Saturday of the Kipco King George weekend at the end of July. We started it last year.
Yes.
I think we introduced the green carpet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Of course we did. Yes, you might be able to expect to see some Sheerlock's
so
team
naturally,
members
lots
there.
of lawns.
Absolutely.
We turned one of them into a green carpet.
We did,
so that'll be
yes.
coming back again this year. And again,
Exciting.
it's just a great way for people to be able to showcase their style and
Yes.
really kind of get involved in that part of the day.
Yeah, it's so true. Go down there, wear a fabulous outfit, and show us what we're wearing.
And colour. I think it's always great to see colour. And I think King George is always... It's had a strapline, you bring the colour for many years.
Love
and
that.
It's never been more true, I think, than
Great.
nowadays, where
Alex, thank you so much. Where can all the information be found?
ascot.com.
There we go. Doesn't get more easy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now it's time for some reader questions. Someone was asking, if you could swap wardrobes with anyone famous, who would you choose? Sherri?
Oh, that is really hard because honestly, I would take anyone's. I just think like trying anyone else's clothes is really fun. Probably Zendaya, specifically her red carpet looks. I just think she always gets it right. She always looks amazing, and I love that she always wears lots of colour.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I might not fit into her clothes because she's very slim and very tall.
I was going to say, let's not think about it in terms of what we might actually fit into or else.
Her actual clothes though, I would
Yeah.
have Zendaya's wardrobe.
Emma, how about you? It's probably harder for you because
It is harder. But when you said that, my first thought was, I mean, it's not really a wardrobe, but Annie Bing has the most amazing actual wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
So like she's got this antique kind of handbag shelving thing in her walk-in wardrobe. So I'm like with all her handbags lined up. So yeah,
You'd go in there and
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dressing room. Is it basically a lovely
I
dressing
mean,
room?
it's basically like something you would see in a store, but it's in her wardrobe.
Wow.
So I'm very jealous of that.
Has she got a really good handbag collection as
Yes,
well, I
amazing,
imagine?
amazing.
Nice. Tor?
No one really springs to mind. As Sherri said, I'll take anything, really. I'm not fussy. But yeah, I mean, just to have someone's like wardrobe space that was just like so curated.
Yeah.
Like when there's that, what's that? Is it called Dubai Bling? Does anyone else watch Dubai Bling?
No.
I haven't watched it, but another one.
I'm not saying I want their clothes and their accessories, but some of their like spaces.
Yeah.
And they kind of open huge drawers and they've got like, a million t-shirts like all lined up.
Oh, yeah,
and
nicely folded.
Oh,
It's like being in a
coordinated.
boutique, really. It's
Yeah.
more like, it's not actually a wardrobe.
Yeah, I would love that. To have everything like beautifully laundered. Not that
Yeah.
my clothes aren't beautifully laundered anyway, but just a little bit more tidy.
Nice. But there isn't one person, you look at their style style and you're like, I would wear everything you'd wear?
No, do you have someone?
I've got loads, but the one that springs to mind is probably Erin O'Connor. I feel like she always wears loads of
cool.
amazing capes. Not that I always have occasions to wear them, but I'd love to get stuck into her wardrobe.
She's very cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's just, for me, I think it's back, God knows when it was, probably like 2003 or something. We always used to go to the clothes show, me and my friends in Birmingham, and it was like, to get there from Grimsby, it was like a huge undertaking, and we'd go and we'd be like 13 and 14. I think it was like the coolest thing we'd ever done. But she always used to be the face of it, and she's just, since then I've just been like, you're just really, I think she's really cool and striking. So nice.
Through all those years.
Now for me, I just always think of her as being like, that sort of classic model of the time. But I think even now, whenever I see her on the red carpet or events, I'm like, yes.
She does.
I also think Alexa Chung always looks amazing, and I pretty much, and I think she always has done, even when she was in her sort of indie days back in the day. I think she's always manages to mix different sort of styles, and it doesn't feel like she necessarily has one identity of what she likes to wear.
Yeah, she mixes it up quite well, doesn't she?
So I would steal both of their wardrobes very happily. Emma, this is a good question for you. What shoes to wear with flared jeans? Do you necessarily have to wear heels?
I mean, I think it depends how tall you are. I'm very short, so I always, like, for example, I've got these flared jeans on, and I'm wearing a small heel. I would always wear heels, but if you have the height, you can get away with trainers. I think it actually looks quite cool sometimes if your jeans are just like puddled on the floor and your shoes kind of like hidden underneath.
Yeah.
So, so it doesn't really answer the question very well, but I think it depends.
Yeah. Okay. Where are your jeans from, by the way? They're really
These
lovely.
are the Frankie shop.
Oh, they're great. They're such a nice colour of denim.
Such a nice colour.
Yeah, they're
Fresh.
good, and they're very comfy as well.
Oh,
So.
Well, and they look smart, so ticking lots of boxes. For a couple of lifestyle questions. So someone has asked, what are the best upcoming plays to book in London? Sherri, I feel like you've probably got a couple up your sleeve.
I actually saw the Agatha Christie trial, which has been turned into a play. They've adapted it. It's been on TV. It's been like a podcast, but they put it on the West End stage. And I think this was a couple of months ago, but they're bringing it back due to popular demand. So if you don't have tickets now, go. It was so good. And they used the actual real life transcript from the real court case.
Oh, wow.
And it's that good. It doesn't need any dramatisation or adding any quips, because it's that dramatic.
I
and
remember
scandalous.
the trial, like the journalists who were in the court were just having a field day every day with their reporting, so I can only imagine.
Exactly, the one-liners you would not believe. So that's my number one choice.
When is it coming back this year?
It's coming back in, I think, April or May, definitely in the spring. So book tickets if you can.
How many people are in the cast?
Oh, it's small. Maybe about 7 or 8.
Okay, and it's all just set in the courtroom.
Exactly, and they have like football pundits to bring it back to so they kind of commentate it like it's a football match.
Oh, funny.
Which is really clever.
To
tie in with like the wags, but the drama is definitely in the courtroom. It's really good.
Oh, that does sound good.
That's a good one.
Tor, have you got anything you're looking forward to?
Does the musical count?
Yes, 100%.
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, yes.
Mrs. Doubtfire is like...
When's that coming?
In the summer, isn't it?
Yeah. Summer, yeah. That is like my number one kind of old school film.
I love it.
I can quote the whole film.
It's so good.
The whole film. So definitely booking tickets. I think it might be like May, June.
Yeah.
My birthday's July, so I'm hoping to get tickets like around then.
So whoever's playing the role, you've got big boots to fill. Following Robin
It's got to be
Williams.
good.
It's got to be good. I don't know. The story's there. It's going to be great.
So good. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Can't wait. Heather, what about you? Booking anything?
So actually, recently I saw a really, really good, it's kind of a play musical, it's only an hour, and it's called My Sons Are Queer, But What Can You Do? And it's this comedian called Rob Madge, and I saw a video that they posted, I think it was about 2 years ago, and when they were younger, they performed a Disney parade at home. Dad was goofy and cameraman and stagehand, like their grandmas were all sort of involved as well, and it's the most wholesome sort of home video thing you've ever seen, but also hilariously funny. And I think everyone can also identify with having done very daft things in their youth as well. So the whole premise of this production is a recreation of that Disney parade now that they're in their 20s, and it's so funny.
That sounds good. Also quite feel good. Yeah.
Really feel good, but also they're a part. I mean, I was in bits at one stage. Like, it's also got some really hard hitting bits because they're talking about their journey being non-binary, but not in a sort of really awful way or like a really deeply depressing way, just in a celebratory way. And I think the ultimate message of it is that their family has been incredible, considering they're sort of like a sort of northern working class family. They've always been very supportive. So it's not like a big worthy thing or anything like that. Like maybe I'm making it sound more serious than it is. It's very, very funny. But yeah, it's an hour production with songs, just Rob on stage, and the best bit is like lots of the home footage is being projected the whole time, and
That's so funny.
honestly so good.
Where's that? Yeah,
So it's on at the Ambassadors Theatre, which is obviously at the Ivy. So it was on.
nice.
It was on at the Garrick, and then they were in the Palladium as the Cow over Christmas. So there was a bit of a break, but now it's back on at the Ambassadors Theatre. But I think it's on for another couple of months. But yeah, honestly,
That sounds really good.
It starts
really
at
good.
7:30. It finished at 8:30.
Yeah.
Standing ovation. Like it was, honestly, it's a lot of fun. So would heartily recommend that. Somebody's asked, what are your favourite workouts? I feel we should ask this, seeing as you're on the sofa tour. Have you got any good new ones to recommend?
I am really trying to do less cardio. I interviewed someone at the end of last year. I did a piece on kind of the most asked fitness questions of the year, and this PT said, at our age and as women, you should never be doing more cardio than strength.
Gosh, I do no strength. That's so bad.
Yeah, you should be doing strength. Well, cardio is fine, but there comes a point where it's just not going to be doing your hormones like many favours, and we really need to be building muscle. And muscle is like, we're never, ever, ever going to be bulky because we just don't have the testosterone, and we don't eat 10,000 calories. Well, no, you don't. Well,
Not every day.
It's really, really hard to like bulk up, basically. So I've been trying to do more strength training. I've been doing a lot of classes on the Peloton, and people don't know there's classes on the app that aren't just about the bike. They have lots of quite cool kind of 3 and 5 day programs. Basically take you through strength training.
See, I have a Peloton, but I don't know any.
Oh my god, you
of
have
the
to.
strength stuff. I
You
need
have
to get into it.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
amazing.
all I do is get on the bike, do like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever.
Do you never do the arm stuff?
Sometimes, but not.
Why don't you start doing? Because if you go, there's like obviously normal spins, but there's some called like intervals and arms.
Yeah, I do. I sometimes
They're
do.
good. They're really good, and that's
yeah.
a really good way.
Yeah.
And they're very lightweights, so that's a different kind of
maybe a good
muscle training.
starter.
Definitely,
thing.
it's all better than nothing. And even your own body weight is as effective as weights. Bands also a great way to do strength train.
Yeah.
So
Good to know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Whatever you find fun and
Yeah.
you'll stick to is great.
Yeah, I think
You
that's
know?
the key, isn't it? So, especially maybe at this time of year, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to do this and this. But I think if you're not actually enjoying something realistically, you're probably
It's just you're
not going to keep it up.
Yeah.
Give it up. Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I used to love running, but it doesn't really do much.
Yeah, you don't really run anymore, do you?
For
Yeah.
like a year,
Yeah.
18 months.
But if you're doing other things that you love, then...
exactly. I just think, I reached a point where I wasn't sure what I was doing with it. And
And
I
you
just
do
fell out of
get
love with it.
bored
Yeah,
as
you do
well.
get bored.
Just
You
like,
need to mix it
I have
up.
to go for another run.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just like
yeah.
you need to keep it fresh. I
Exactly,
think.
exactly. And strength training, like lifting, if you're lifting really heavy weights, your heart rate is going up just as much as it is if you were running.
That's a good point.
So that's
Really
what
good
I'm
point.
loving right now.
Oh, no, that's really
Yeah.
that's good.
It's a really good one.
I'm still doing my fluid form stuff, which I'm really enjoying.
Harriet's doing it as well
Yeah,
now.
it's really good. It's with, again, well, it's completely different. You can choose whichever sort of program or challenge you fancy, but it's all sort of Pilates, which I hadn't really done before. I sort of tried fluid form, but
Is that
again,
just on a mat at home?
yeah, but again, they send you a starter kit, so you get bands in it and very small weights and a sort of
good.
two side, well, a small exercise ball, but I bought a bigger one as well. Just to try. I'm just enjoying it because it's all new to me, so I'm just trying to like learn all the different moves and stuff because I do really like yoga, but I feel with this I've had a bit more of a workout than a yoga session.
And
But
you
you
probably
still,
have.
really good.
but you still
Yeah.
feel like you're stretching, especially with the bands. Like you feel like you're getting into places you can't normally. So
There's been, I think, in the last kind of year, the shift from kind of high impact to low impact is unbelievable, and people are actually realising you can still just do something like Pilates and see incredible results, if not more results.
yeah.
Just because we're all so stressed. And
Yeah.
like, I love a 30, whatever, a spin class, but it just sends your cortisol into absolute overdrive. and that does no one any favors.
Oh really? Gosh, I need to talk
These
to
are
you more
tips
about
we
this.
need.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
exercise is a stressor on the body, which is great, and that's how you see results. But when you're already stressed, whether you've had a bad sleep, you're looking after kids, you're not eating well, or whatever it is, and you exercise and like a very intense workout, that just sends your cortisol into like an absolute spin.
Sherri, how about you?
I go to the gym with my dad in the mornings, usually like 2 or 3 times a week.
I love that.
Which is really good because if we go together, I find it's more accountability, and I don't want him to like go on his own. Even though that'd be fine, but like it's more of like an activity, and it's quite nice having like a little chat early in the morning.
I love that.
So that's
like super
early, yeah, like 6:30, get there for 7. It's not super early, but you feel like
Doable.
It is.
yeah,
fun,
really
yeah.
doable.
And I feel
exactly.
when you do that, you feel like you've conquered the day.
Yeah.
Honestly, you feel
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh,
so
I've
good.
achieved so much.
For me, you have to do the exercise early, or else
Yeah.
it's so easy to let it slip later on in the day.
Exactly, especially in the winter. So yeah, just do weights, and then like I really like the pop sugar workouts on YouTube, and then just have like a really good playlist on in the background, bit of dumbbells.
playlist, isn't it?
All about the playlist. I actually have one that I can only listen to when I'm like doing workouts to make me want to do it, because I've curated one that's like just with really good new songs. I can only listen to it
Love that.
when I'm doing that for a bit of
Yeah.
motivation.
Well, I've started doing badminton again.
Oh yeah,
Just once
you
a
love that,
week.
didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, on a Friday night, fun.
That's a good workout.
Indoor or outdoor?
It's indoor,
Okay,
yeah. I'm getting better actually. I beat my boyfriend for the first time
Oh,
on
well
Friday.
done.
But no, yeah, it's fun
I
actually.
think it's quite a good workout because
Yeah.
you have to run.
Yeah.
quite a
That's the
lot,
thing, yeah,
don't you?
I've got my watch, it burns about 350 calories. So I feel like, also I think for a
Great.
Friday, I'm
Yeah.
like, to the pub after, and you feel good. But no, probably shouldn't do both of those things at once. But
No, you should. You've made space for it.
there we go. But no, I think, yeah, like you say, it's just about finding something you enjoy and you can actually see yourself sticking
And
at.
also bonus if you can do it with people like
Yeah.
loved ones.
Yeah,
Love that.
exactly, yeah.
Love that.
A wholesome activity.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed that, please do rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. And if you've got any questions you'd like us to answer, please do email us at podcast@sherlock.com. We love hearing from you, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.